Pam, Dato' Ali Hashim and his wife, smack in front of me. So what I did, I put my hands in my pocket. Oh, hi Shebby. Hi Dato'. I kept on walking. Oh, pergi mana? He was there, I was here, I heard him say, pergi mana? Pergi Jalan lah kau. I told him that. Yes. This is the kind of people who are destroying football. Say what you like about Tan Sri Anwar Musa. He's done a great job. You know, he's coming there and he's saying, I'm not a football expert, but I'll employ people who know what to do with football. And yes, I have been not directly talking to him, but there's a group of people that I was involved in, and you know, Tan Sri Anwar bought our idea and he's working on it, which is good. I will help anybody. But this is the problem with our football. There's enough good people in football, but unfortunately the authorities are like that. The PM should come out with a rule that no royalty or no politicians can hold positions in sport. Why not? People like you, young people, you know, ambitious entrepreneurs, you know, or you know, knowledge in the economics or whatever. Why don't you run sport? Sport is a lucrative business, very, very lucrative, and you can start. Our sports minister, oh, we want to turn it into an industry. Cakap je. You know not how to turn it into an industry. Right? And I was talking to some people and I said, yeah, it's fantastic, One Malaysia. When are we going to come up with One Malaysia footballs? Bola, you have the white and black panels. The white panels you hot stamp, boom, One Malaysia. And you distribute to kids, under 12 kids lah. Come up with 10,000 footballs or whatever, just bagi one kid, one ball. Now everyone can play. Borrow from Tony lah. Now everyone can play. You know why? 1987, I was working for Sports Toto. Sports Toto is a gambling company, right? So we used to donate sports equipment to schools, and I was the sports promoter in charge. Mak Shah Kadi was the GM at that time. So how do we introduce Sports Toto to the kids? Because we are a gambling company, we cannot. No problem, Cik Shah. Spoke to a friend of mine, we went to Thailand, went to the factory, and we told the factory, this is the Sports Toto logo was round, right? So I said, hot stamp on the white panels. We distributed, I think, about 1,500 footballs to all the Majlis Sukan daerah. Under 12, size 4, and under 15, size 5 balls. 5 footballs for under 12, 5 footballs for them. Because Majlis Sukan daerah, Majlis sekolah-sekolah daerah, they organize inter-school competition. So we donated, oh, shake hands, oh, very happy. So the kid is playing with a brand new ball. He's going to go home. He's going to ask, Ayah, Sport Toto ni siapa? Yang bagi bola free. Message given. Guilty. I'm guilty of introducing Sports Toto to the kids. But helps with football development, helps to market the company. Jahat juga kita. Sometimes you have to. So One Malaysia footballs. I'm sure Nike would love that, because then they can charge you 30 ringgit more. Isn't it? Jersey already proper 100. It's a plan there, one of you, businessman, entrepreneur. Cepat come up, plan. No, I think that's one way. You introduce One Malaysia to the kid, and you give him a football to play as well. So it creates awareness about One Malaysia, and it helps to develop football.
Any more questions?
2 birds with one stone.
I just want to share with you about what I did for the past 8 years in film. So I'm a business director of the MSF film. We produce most of the Yasmin Ahmad products back in 2002. So we produce Rabon, Cobra, and September. My handstand is talking about her. It's very close. And the idea that when she produced, she had the idea of working Malay Chinese, Indians together back in 2002. It was a big buzz. I mean, a big buzz about, you know, it would never work out. And it was. It was not working because we cannot sell that in Malaysia. We have to sell it overseas and in Singapore. So that's the problem, you know, when we talk about unity in other industry as well. So I just want to relate to you that, you know, it takes some time for people to recognize, you know, how things change now and how, you know, the last thing that we did with Sepet and Mualaf, not talent time. So that's the way it is now. It takes time to people to recognize it, you know. So, you know, it happened across the industry as well. So to touch about, you know, how to promote this ball or any sports, you know, I try to relate to my experience in Australia as well, where, you know, back in like 10 or 15 years ago, how they want to teach all the children in Australia to surf, right? So they give all these children, you know, surfboard, start from the, you know, during child. You have a pro surfer at the age of 9 in Hawaii and in Australia as well. So, you know, start from 5 years, 5 years until today. You can see the product from Australia and Hawaii as well. So, just want to share with you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I must say that, you know, Yasmin is a big loss to our nation. The lady I admired very much. You know, the lady who promised me there would be one of her future films. Unfortunately, you know, got another plan.
I didn't know about that.
But you know, whatever were in her films is true. You know, I come from Keluar, and you know we have a lot of rubber plantations. You know, where we have the Malays, the Indians, and the Chinese, and these things happen. You know, a Malay boy falls in love with a Chinese girl, or an Indian boy falls in love with a Malay girl. Yeah. Love has no borders or boundaries. Love happens. We don't think when love happens. So these things do happen. There are so many mixed marriages.
Yeah.
There are. So I think she was fantastic. She was just there. I think she was the original one in Malaysia. I think, and that's what, you know, we are trying to achieve here. And coming back to the surfboards and everything, yes, give a child a ball. Not many people can afford that. Or we must come up with a plan. So if you buy 10,000 footballs this year, right? Next year, you're going to buy another 10,000 balls, out of which I think at least about 30%, 3,000 footballs will be returned to you. Because you go on a one-for-one basis. You return your old ball, I give you a new ball. At the same time, you continue giving out new balls. So what are you going to do with 3,000 used up balls? Recycle. Recycle. There will be many people who will want to buy leather balls, or you know, the bladder inside that is made of rubber. So you know that is it. You can start recycling, and before you know, it kind of pays for itself. Recycle the old ones, you buy new ones, and then after about 4 or 5 years, I'm sure some of you, you know, are better economists than I ever will be. You can work out the sums. Eventually, the industry will start paying for itself. No need every year, wow, 2 million grant from the government. Next year, 3 million grant. 10,000 footballs, 2,000, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, suddenly 10 million. You know, that is how sometimes our country works. But this is how you start people off. So that is, you know, and that's a perfect example. Thank you so much for sharing, you know, with Australia, surfboards. Give a kid a surfboard. A kid is 6 years old, starts standard 1. Or 7 years old, you know, you give him a ball. The first day of registration, adik minat sukan apa? Minat hockey. Give him a hockey stick. There you go. You got a hockey stick now. You study at the same time you play. Minat bola, bagi bola. Netball, bagi netball. Basketball. And that is what happens in America. Every kid has got a ball or something under his arm. When they come out of school or they go to school, they're bouncing something, or they're running with something, trying to dodge people. And this is how we start encouraging the young. Not, you know, organized programs or this or that, you know. Then the curry puffs and the nasi lemak cost more than the actual sports event. Oh, YB datang lah, this and that, all that nonsense. Save the money, let's buy sports equipment. Like I said, there's so much money to be made from recycling sports equipment. And then before you know it, you set up your own factory to make the footballs. One nation factory, which generates income for the government. But generating income for the government, mana boleh duit masuk polis sendiri. Isn't it? We have to fight this, and we have to make sure the PM knows about this. A ball to a kid, wow! Can you imagine? Every day he will be thanking the PM. No, seriously. Seriously. I was 8 years old and I boarded a ship in Port Klang. I was 8 years old. My mother was taking me and my younger brother, who was 6 years young, so he was 2 years old. We were going back to Punjab because my parents were born in Punjab. My family, my relatives were all in Punjab in India. So those days you had to go by ship, by steamer. Huge ship. My grandfather gave me a ball when he sent me off. So every day I used to go on deck and play. Then one day the wind was very strong, the ball bounced, boom, overboard. The journey took forever from Port Klang to Madras. It took forever. I can't remember how many days. But when I lost the ball, it's as if like my life had ended. And my ball was gone. That was it. My life was over. So can you imagine when you wake up the kid, that is what they mean, you sleep with the ball. The kids will make sure the ball is next to them when they go to sleep. Or the hockey stick or whatever sport the kid likes. Yes, believe me. They will truly appreciate that. Then we've already spoken about how to turn it into an industry to make money for individuals or for companies. I'm sure any company here can just come up with 10,000 footballs. I'll tell you another story, right? So, if I'm boring you, please tell me to shut up because I never will. So I was selling artificial grass. I sell a product called field turf. So one day I tried to get an appointment with Dato' Nazir of CIMB. A few months later, I got that appointment. So I went to see Dato' Nazir. So I had two proposals to give to him. Number one was donate artificial pitches to schools. So CIMB, part of your CSR, this is a big school, I'm giving you an artificial football pitch. Doesn't matter, I spend 1 million. Your current natural grass pitch, cabut, pasang artificial grass. Artificial grass daripada pagi sampai besok pagi you can play. Padang tak akan rosak. Any sport you can play. This I have to go back to 2005. 2005. I went to see 2006 somewhere there. So Dato' Nazir was very impressed because I took photographs. I went to PJ, I went to Shah Alam, I took pictures of all the school fields and came up with the data. This school student count, 1,000, blah 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 and all that. He saw the pictures. It was a PowerPoint presentation. He was like, "Oh!" I said, "Dato', this is one of the reasons why sport is dying in schools because you don't want your son running around on those pebbles and padang pota and all that." So he liked the idea very much. So he said, "Shebby, why don't we start with a university first? Find me a university that hasn't got any ATM machines on campus. I'll stick in the CIMB ATM machines and I'll give them a artificial pitch as well because those are my customers now. They open bank accounts and so that man is brilliant." So I said, "Okay, Dato', I will." Now part 2, I said, "Dato', why are we calling our stadium Bukit Jalil National Stadium? Why? Because it's situated in Bukit Jalil. Stadium, National Stadium. So what? Why don't we call it